Hi, Pineapples in LA. Welcome. So I'm just kind of waiting. We've got about 4 more minutes. Sort of getting centered, and then we will start. Thanks for joining. Yay, Lori. I'm glad you made it. Thanks for coming in. So we've got about 2.5 minutes, and then we'll start. Just kind of letting everybody gather. Could you guys give me some hearts or let me know also if you can hear me, if it's too loud, if it's too soft? Let me know that. Perfect. Thanks for letting me know. Y'all are so sweet. Pineapples in LA. Thank you so much. Y'all are perfect the way you are, as always. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. For those of you that don't know me and this is your first time here, my name is Cindy. I am at Simply Cindy. I am a psychic medium. I have lots of tools in my bag, and I don't know why I always do this, but I think it's because I'm so used to like talking about Pluto carrying the bag. But I have lots of tools in my bag, so that means probably most modalities. I'm certified teach or a practitioner in. So welcome, welcome everyone. I really appreciate you guys coming in tonight. Thank you for putting up with me last night. Our group is like, I was so tired. Your divine knowledge is good. Then. is a godsend. So thank you so much. So anyway, thanks for putting up with me last night. I was so tired. I had been up since 6 a.m. and it was already getting about 24 hours into it. So I had a nice rest. Again, I have not been able to come on until late because of the heat. This heat is almost going to be gone, and then we're done. And then my favorite time of year comes, autumn and winter and spring. Those are my favorite times. But autumn is my favorite. So, again, thank you so much for coming. Tonight I'm going to go over that aspect, the quintile that was right in front of my face, but I was so tired I couldn't even, I couldn't see it. And so this time I wrote the dates and what I wanted to say about it. Right, just looking at the dates and the aspect, I was like, oh yeah, there it is. It's right there. So we're gonna talk about the quintile and what that means. And the reason I'm going back to this is because I think it's really important, talking about the partial lunar eclipse that's happening in Pisces, and I talked about that yesterday. I edited it down to a video, so it should be released in the morning. That's another reason I couldn't get on here till late, because I had to upload and all of that. So tonight I'm doing this extra. I don't usually come on Friday, but I'm doing this extra because I want to read some charts. I want to see where y'all are at. Y'all know I'm a medium, so I just saw something. Um, I was like, why are you being so overly dramatic? Paul's your favorite too. Anyway, so back to focusing. I want to read some charts. I want to see the lunar. I want to look at this quintile aspect in your chart. I'm going to pick some people. I don't know how many I'm going to do. I'm not going to stay on very long because I'm coming on tomorrow again. And so the aspect that we're going to be looking at is I want to see where the quintile is going to fall in your chart, and I want to see where this lunar eclipse is. I'll be channeling, so we'll see what spirit, your higher self, says about this stuff. Lori says, I asked God for this, so blessed. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So I'm in my PJs already. My hair is probably not done. I don't really, it's not that I don't care. It's like it's not my focus. So anyway, so so since Pineapple was here first, let's do her. And then if you don't mind, Pineapple, then Ellie. If you want your chart done, where we're going to look at the aspect, and then Lori, we can do Lori. Okay. I'm getting ready for work. Oh no, you're not going to be able to do it. Same here, Lori. So, let me talk about this quintile first. Okay. And then you can give me, what I need is your birth date, the birth time, the birthplace, and, that's it. Don't give me your last name. I don't want your last name. So what we have here, let me talk about, and it started today. No, yesterday. So, because it's already 12/12. Okay, so it started on the 6th. Here is the aspect I was talking about. So it's Saturn and Uranus. Let's see. She says, I have to be there at 6 a.m. Oh, that's right, because you do the 6. Is it 6 to 2? Is that what you're doing? Yeah, May 27th, 1980, Akron, Ohio. Okay, thank you for that. So let me talk about this aspect really quickly. So this aspect started on the 6th, so yesterday, about 13 minutes ago, right? This is called a quintile. So the quintile is January 14th. Okay, so we got a Cappy and we got a Gemini. Oh, yeah, good Gemini too. So the quintile is again, when they say minor aspect, I think that's a misnomer. I think the minor aspects doesn't mean that it's less powerful or doesn't mean much. It's just the way they categorize things. Okay. So It's a minor aspect, so a lot of astrologers may not talk about it, right? But I think it's important for this, where we're headed for this lunar eclipse, which I told you yesterday is giving us a glimpse of where we're going to be in 2025, right? Um, so the a quintile is a place or an aspect where they're having the conversation of where you have hidden talent or where you have this innate talent that you may not even know, or you know you have it, you don't realize it's a talent. You don't realize that it gets you through things. You don't realize that it's your creativity, to your resourcefulness, where you come up with things, where, and it could be different. It depends on where it is in your houses, right? But this is like this, just this part of you that you don't have to push or pull or try to figure out. It's just where it gets inspired and things come together. That's a quintile. Okay. So, this quintile started yesterday. It's Saturn and Uranus, right? Now, as an Aquarian, I'm ruled by Uranus, rules my chart, but I'm also, my second ruler is Saturn. So it's kind of that energy with this hidden talent, if that makes any sense, right? It's very wise. It's brave. It's willing to look into the unknown. It's willing to, it's like me. It's like, it's willing to change it up if need be, but with a very grounding and responsible and authoritative Saturn, right? Does that make sense? So wherever this is, that's where you're going to be. I think that's going to be uncovered, or where you become more aware of. That's why I want to like point it out, because I felt yesterday when I was doing this lunar eclipse, like as we move in that direction, the faded direction where something's gone and clipped and we realize, and then it's like we see and we know that this is our talent, and it's going to get us through, right? It's going to get us through to this next phase, right? And so, but it's really interesting because it started yesterday, and so those two, Saturn and Uranus, wherever they fall in your houses, are going to be talking and bringing that out all the way till December 24th. And then December 24th, so this aspect, Uranus is going to be talking to Saturn. Saturn in Pisces retrograde, Uranus in Taurus retrograde. They're going to be talking all the way until December 6th. Let me show you December 6th really quickly so that you can see what's going to happen next. Right. Just look at my note, make sure that it was December 6th. Where is it? I'm sorry, December 23rd. I thought I stopped that. Okay. Hold on. Okay, right here. So on December 23rd is when, if you look here, here's Saturn and here's Uranus. They're still talking that same conversation. So my feeling is, hey Shayla, how are you? So my feeling is that you are going to be working on this hidden talent. It's going to be coming out. You're going to have a lot of creativity. This is where you're going to get the authority. This is where you're going to learn to manage it. This is where it's so innate, but you become aware of it and you're able to use it for this next phase that you're going into. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Because this, on the 23rd, they'll still be talking. They'll still be developing. They'll still be like making it known for you. Like you're really going to get an idea of yourself, confidence, right? Saturn builds confidence. Uranus builds confidence, right? So Saturn and Uranus will be building that, right? And then on the 24th, sorry, keeps doing this. So on the 24th, they move from a quintile to a sextile, right? Which means the quintile is an innate creativity, what I just said, an innate creativity that you have, a talent, a hidden talent that you didn't realize, and you'll be dealing with that, looking at that, having that come forward for the next phase that you need. And then on the 24th, and again, energy doesn't stop or start, so this gets started a little early, but on the 24th, they have the exact sextile, which means there is going to be progression forward that you have to make a choice about, but it's a good thing. So our focus has been getting our dreams, right? We're willing to do the work. We have been doing the work. We're trying to let go of, the baggage of the psyche, let go of the baggage of the body, let go of the baggage of the emotions. Like, we've been working on that, right? And I think for the first time, we're going to begin to like look at, instead of that stuff, we're looking at ourselves from now till December. And then I feel like on this in December, this is that sextile where you get opportunity to sort of show that, to sort of move in that. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, I love the charts and the geometry. What does Pisces make to Taurus? So the quintile, right? But I wanted to go over what this means. I wanted to help you understand what the quintile means, right? And now I'm going to look at your chart. So can y'all hear that? That train? I don't know that you can hear it, but if you can, I apologize. So let's do Pineapples in LA, May 27th. Let's do a new one. Hold on. So give me a second here to put your information in. I have my keyboard with here. So I have to move stuff. I've only known really good people in Akron, Ohio. Interesting. Really good people come out of Akron, Ohio. Okay. Second. 80. And your birth time is 2:36 a.m. Okay. Okay, does that look right, pineapples? All right. Are you a Pisces ascending? Your moon is in Scorpio. Where's that sun? Gemini. I should have known it was Gemini. It was May 27th. You are one of those deep feeling Geminis. Also good Gemini. Hey, sister, how are you? I'm glad you're feeling better. Okay. So, remember, Uranus is in Taurus at 27 degrees. So it would be like right here, right? Because that's 15 degrees. And so Uranus is about right here for you. And then Saturn is in Pisces. Where's Pisces? Right here. Sorry. And Saturn is in Pisces around the same. 20, I think it was like 18 degrees. It's somewhere right here, right? But let me make sure, because you're right on that. I'm going to look right here. Hold on. Yeah, 16 degrees. So it's at 16 degrees, right on, right on your ascending. Isn't that crazy? Right on your ascending. So you got Saturn right on your ascending. You have been working really, really hard at what do you believe, unmasking what you were told to believe, seeing things a little differently, really taking responsibility and accountability. This is not something you usually do. This is something you have been doing lately. And you may have been a little bit confused as to why you're being so serious about it. And I can tell you, and it is opposite. Wow, look at this. So you see, guys, this is what she was born with. And I'm saying right now, Saturn is right here. But look at her natal Saturn. That's at 20 degrees. That's still aspecting. That's still they're talking. So transiting Saturn is activating her natal Saturn, making her work really, really hard about who she is, who she wants to be, and who she wants around her. And she's had her eyes opened as to the people that she's had around her, the toxicity that she's had around her. She's got Pluto in her seventh house. It has not been easy for her. You've dealt with abandonment issues. You've dealt with why when you were young. I don't know that you've been through this already. You were 1980, so you may have. Why are people so awful? Why can't they tell the truth? Why do people do those things to me when I was a child and or did those things to me because I didn't do anything? Why? Right? I have not done the Pluto in the seventh house because it's going to take a lot. They're all big houses. Like they're all just these psychological traumas. And the seventh house is a really big one. Right? But you're dealing with abandonment issues, understanding, what did I do wrong? What did I not do? What can I do better? How can I be better? And then Saturn doesn't make it any easier. But what's funny is that you have the Power of Fortune. Now, I have not gotten to do that video on the Power of Fortune. So the Power of Fortune is basically a point, an area, just like the nodes, right? Where if you were to take your top three, so your Pisces ascending, if you say, okay, I'm going to put Pisces ascending in a bowl, and then I'm going to put Gemini sun in the same bowl, and then I'm going to put Scorpio moon in the same bowl. And if I mix those up together and blend them really well and master each one and balance them out, what would that make me? And that would make you a Libra 16 degree. That's what the Power Fortune is. Okay. So what's funny is you want to get through this without losing who you really are. It's almost like not to be, you don't want to be one of those people that are jaded and hate this world. Does that make sense to you? You just don't want to be an awful person and you don't want to hate the world. You are a Pisces and a Scorpio. You know the depths of people. You know the awfulness of people, but you also know the greatness of people. And you're just confused as to why those things were being attracted to you. And I think that's what you're trying to figure out, especially since your Saturn transit right now. So let me say this to you, because of all of this, and look at this. This area are the relationships you feel you have no control over. Okay? Where these are the relationships that you do have control over up here, right? So you have a lot of planets here. This is where your focus, this is where your path is, right? You're trying to figure this out. I think you've gone through a lot of it, through most of it, like you're understanding better. Your North Node is right here, right? So your North Node is in Leo. And you have Jupiter there, and you have Mars there. So there are times when you can stand up for yourself, but it's almost like you pick the wrong times to stand up for yourself. And you may have gone through this already, like you may have balanced this by now, but you may it's almost like misplaced anger for all the shit that's happened to you, right? And you see this. You're wise, you're old, you know this. And it's almost like you're like, I know better than to do this. Why do I keep doing this? And I want to tell you, with this Pluto and this Saturn, it's from your line. It's from your DNA, right? It's from, like, I have this habit and I don't know why. It's because it's in your line. You're the one that's going to transmute this. You have the wisdom. You have the patience. You have the knowledge, right? And what knowledge you don't have, you are gathering. Okay? So don't be so hard on yourself. But to be your true self, and the reason I'm saying this is because you are trying to, like, unmask all of this because you're trying to find your identity, especially being a Pisces, because you're like, I can be all identities. You came here to be a certain one, right? And so that would be sort of the Libra. That's your power fortune. When you're this, you have success. And Pluto will reward you, but he's close to this par, so he will play some psychological BS games sometimes just to make you sharper at this. Does that make sense? Okay, so what I wanted to say, so after all of that, and the reason I'm kind of glad that we're talking about this is because right at that 16 degree where Saturn is going to, in Taurus, it's going to be quintile. So being you and knowing your resourcefulness and your worth is going to, like, it's not a challenge. It's like when I come back to myself, and I'm trying to make it vocalize it for you because you probably don't realize you do this. And they're showing me where you can manifest anything, but you have to, like, be in this space of this quintile. That's your hidden talent, to be able to get what you want. Does that make sense? Does that ring true to you? It's like, you may not call it manifesting. You may call it, like, when I want something, I don't know, I just talk about it, or I think about it, or you do something. That's your hidden talent. That's your way to do that. But you have to be balanced with your worthiness, your resourcefulness, like understanding that you're more than people abandoning you and doing you wrong. You have to understand that, consciously, right? Does that make sense to you? And you may be at that point now. This is just going to be over the next few months until December. It's like it's going to be highlighted for you and brought out for you, where you're going to see, I'm going to tell you this right now, what I'm hearing. You're going to see magic come into your life, and then you're going to realize that you're doing the magic. And I think that's the disconnect, is like you believe in the universe, but you don't realize that you are the universe doing it. Does that make sense? And I think you're going to realize that over the next few months because you've got some things happening. Okay. So let me know if that all makes sense. Okay, perfect. Now, where the lunar eclipse is happening is in your first house and your seventh house. It's like me. I just happen to have a north node there, right? So it's going to be happening at that 25 degrees, right? So this is actually, it's not on, but it's right by your rising, right? And so with it happening at 25 degrees in your first and seventh house, there is something that you have been dealing with for a while of an understanding, but something needs to be gone for you to finish out this phase. So it's almost like you'd been in the mindset of like, I'm in this phase and I just keep learning and I just keep doing and I just keep trying to figure it out. I just like when does the good come? Right? And it's this, you over the last maybe 4 6 months, you've really understood that there is good because a little bit's been happening to you. A little bit was brought in, a little bit, right? And it's given you confidence. Yes, I did. Oh, I did. Did you mean to say I did? Yeah. Where it's just like, oh, indeed. Okay. Yeah, indeed. Right. Where you're like seeing, okay, a little bit is coming in, so I am changing phase. Well, there is something that's going to be changed about your perspective in these next 6 months. It's already started, but you're really going to get some solid stuff saying, holy shit, I did that. Like I feel like you're shocked. You're like, holy shit, I did that. And then you're like, I can do it again. And you do it. And then you're like, wow, it really can happen. And you do it again. And all of that is giving you confidence. And with that innate hidden talent. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what's going to be, but it has something to do with your seventh house, the way that you feel about the way that people have treated you, the way that you feel about your relationships where they abandon you, even since you were a child, where you come to some sort of, you already understand. It's this piece that you get where you're like, that can't, that's not going to completely define me. And I understand that I'm not there, that I really am this. You are on, Cindy. Okay, perfect. Good luck. I want to hear your story. I'm about to make it available where you guys are going to be able to come on and tell me your stories. So I'm so excited for you. I just feel this peace. I feel this relief, but I also feel this excitement where you figure this stuff, this like thing that you can do, right? I was just talking to somebody a couple days ago where we had a reading and I was like, they were a Pisces ascending. I'm like, all over your chart, you should be able to manifest. Like, I know Pisces that can manifest $50,000 in 2 hours. Like, I've seen it, right? And all they need, like, I have somebody that used to call and say, I just need you to get me in that space. And then once I get in that space, I can do it. So that's what I would do. They would call, make an appointment. I'd get them in that space, and then they'd manifest whatever money they needed to manifest, or whatever house, or whatever, right? So that's the way I see you as a Pisces. Like y'all, I've seen y'all manifest like none other, like immediately. So I think that that's going to be highlighted for you, where you actually see that you can do it, and then you figure that out. Okay, so good luck. I'm so excited for you. Okay, so we're gonna do Lori. Lori, are you still with us, or did you go to work? And I know you were getting ready for work. Okay, I'm gonna put yours on here. I was gonna say I was about to say I'm gonna put hers on anyway, and then she can come back and look at it later. Okay, Lori. Thank you for sharing your chart, Pineapples in LA. I love you dearly. Thank you for sharing. Other people can see this, and maybe they have questions. Maybe they're a little lost. Maybe they need help. So thank you for sharing. Let's see. So, January 14th, 1968. Miss Gen Xer. Charlotte. Is it Charlotte, Michigan? January 14th, 1968. Where? There we go. I'm like, how come I passed it? Is it Charleston? Or how did I spell that wrong? Hold on. Let's see. It's CHRLOTTE. CHRLO. Well, if I can spell it correctly. Okay. There we go. I got it. And it's February 14th, 1968. Right? Okay. And then the time is 2:51 a.m. Okay. 2:54 a.m. Okay. Does that look right? Lori? So you are a Scorpio ascending. You are a Cancer moon. And you are a Virgo sun. Boy, are people scared of you? Are people scared of you when they first meet you? I love you dearly. Thank you for the true explanations. You're welcome. Pineapple. Uh, yeah. Yeah, you have this stamp, like, do not. I'm laughing because I'd be like, yeah. Oh, and you have Neptune in Scorpio in your first house. I'm looking at that uh I'm looking at that Venus in your second house and I'm like, oh, she could mess with people so badly just to have some playtime. Especially people that you dated or people that you were interested in. Let's see. And look at your Pisces is in your fourth house, where is Pluto in your 10th. So I will tell you, the Pluto in your 10th, you probably came from, you had other lives where you were that's probably why you have the stance now, is you were revered, you were looked upon, you were, so think of kings and queens and like it doesn't have to be kings and queens, but somebody like the Pope or somebody that was revered, but you misused. And it may have not been like you were put in a position where you misused your power. You had a lot of power. And so you've come back to understand and move through that. So you probably have a lot of luck, but then it gets taken away because you do have Jupiter in your 10th house as well. Let me look. So let me look at that aspect that we're talking about. Yeah, do you feel that? Even though people don't treat you that way, I mean, that's probably why people are scared of you. Yeah. It's not easy having that 10th house Pluto because people may be scared of her, but her line, she was probably made to like feel like she was nothing. Like people like her parents or uncles or somewhere in her line, she was probably made to feel like she was never enough, right? Does that make sense, Lori? But something within you knows that you are. And that's those other lives. Yeah. It's not easy. I mean, it's a nice like, oh yeah, they were very powerful. You don't understand what they have to go through this lifetime. It's hell. It's a lot. It's a lot. Um, you're always trying to, and you may not do this anymore because you're 1968. Um, but to try to overcompensate constantly when you were younger, probably just made you very tired. You probably still are tired because you have the habit, which you need to undo. You do have Uranus there, so things change and people shock you sometimes, right? I can't even get to the aspect because your chart is just fast. All of y'all's charts are fascinating. But let me see. Okay, so Taurus at the 27th degree is your seventh house. So that has been tested right now. You've probably, have you had some changes in your relationships or your partnerships or your like business, even business partnership? It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be romantic, but it doesn't have to be. Some like shifts, some shocks, some I can't believe they like me. I can't believe I don't have to work so hard. I can't believe, like, have you had that lately with Uranus being in that seventh house? Okay, she said yes, true. Okay. Um, so Uranus is in that seventh house right now and it's retrograde. Yes, not taking, I don't know what YMO is. So Uranus being right around, I mean, yeah, Uranus being right around here. Oh, any more BS. Good. Yeah, you need to. You need that you're doing correct. So Uranus being right here, here's your hidden talent. Uranus being right here with um, Saturn being right here, right? So in your birth chart, we see Saturn here and we see Uranus up here. But right now it's been transiting and they're both going to be retrograde at this time, where it's in your seventh and your fourth. So the fourth is the deepest part of you that you probably won't let anybody in because you understand how you've had to overcompensate, how you had to do extra, how like you won't show very many people that, right? But that's your hidden talent is in there. Who you really are that you have not shown anyone is what you need, how you need to do relationships that will go very far. I'm talking deep, the way that Scorpio wants it, deep depth of intimacy with relationships, with even with your business partners or it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be romantic, but it doesn't have to. I'm talking past the labels of, let's get married and blah, blah. That's all society labels, right? I'm talking the deep. Like as a Scorpio, you want to meld. You want to meld with another soul, right? And you have Mars there, so you have Mars here. So you do have confidence to do it, and you do have the energy and inspiration to do it. You're just afraid, right? So here would be your hidden talent is working out these two together. I feel they screw me over. Yeah. Are you talking about other people? Yeah. But you're going to, so I would look and understand where you're not what people say you are who you are. But only you know that because you don't really let that out, right? As a Scorpio, you're always going to be suspicious. But as a Scorpio, you're very good at investigating and researching. So that's what I'd like for you to do is research you, investigate you, the deep part, the part that you've never shown anyone. Maybe you've shown one person, but I don't really think you've shown anyone this, right? You want to because Mars is in there. You want to do it. You've always wanted to do it. But you don't think, like you said, they're going to screw me over, right? But you have to understand and take baby steps. Like know that you're wise enough to know the red flags immediately. You've already been through this so many times with people, except for that you backed out and you didn't go all the way through it, right? And with good cause, because they probably weren't the right people. But there are people around you, there are people in your life who truly want the best for you and don't want to take anything from you. And that's what you're needing to understand who you are, that Scorpio rising, right? And be a Taurus, right? So when you put your rising, your sun, and your moon together, it's to be a Taurus, 29-degree Taurus. That's a very, I've met 29-degree Taurus. They're very calming. They're very confident. They understand that luxury is just around them, and it's theirs if they want it. Like, they don't have to move fast. They don't need you to know anything. They're just they're very happy, just laughing a lot. They almost remind me of like an Aries when an Aries starts laughing, right? It's like very giddy, very, or even like wise old souls that just laugh all the time. It's like that. That's what you want. I have been doing this, going with checking myself first. Perfect. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're going to find over these 4 months until December where you get to actually prove it to yourself, but you're going to be proving it to yourself from now until December, right? Where this talent is of checking with myself first, seeing the red flag, and understanding that there are really good people in this life, and you're going to start aligning with them. And that's where your fate, the quintile first, but then that eclipse, right? It's like bringing in those things to give you more confidence and understand, to further understand who you are, what you want, how you want it this time, right? That makes sense? So that's that quintile. Okay. The next thing I want to look at is the eclipse, right? And so the eclipse is going to be falling at 25 degrees, which is right on your fifth house, right? So there is something, here's fifth house, and this is 10th house, right on your Pluto. It's activating that Pluto. It's understanding that even though you misjudged in your other lives, whether they were past or future, even though you misjudged your power and maybe took too much or took advantage of in other lives, you are not there. You are here, and you've already done penance for it, right? And understanding why you were born into the family that you were born into, so that you could see the other side of what you may have done in other lives. Now, I won't know that for sure until I put you under, right? And then we see for ourselves. But it's sort of that thing where it's almost like you feel like you deserve this in some small way because you've allowed it to happen, right? But you've probably grown from this part because you're like my age. I'm 69, you're 68, right? So it's like finally understanding, okay, I don't really need to suffer anymore. Why am I making myself suffer? I really don't. Like if I had some guilt and I needed to suffer, I think I've done enough at 56. Like for 56 years I've been suffering. I think I've done enough suffering. Now I would like to have deep, intimate, valuable relationships. Does that make sense to you? And this will be, there is some sort of psyche trauma that you are going to have to relieve and understand that you are not there. You're here. You have done enough. You have overcompensated. You have done what other people wanted you to do. And now it's that time for you to take on your own self. That makes sense, Lori? I said this to myself about 6 months ago. Perfect. You're right on it. And you're going to see evidence of this. You're going to see that you're actually not suffering as much, and you're seeing yourself in a better light, and you're checking in with yourself. This is all going to be like opening up for you for the next 6 months, or I'm sorry, till December. And then, like, as soon as it goes sextile, you have to make a choice about the good gift that you're having come in. That makes sense. So if you're single, I wouldn't even say romantic. It's like the partnership that you want, or the friendship that you want, or the relationship that you're wanting. That's kind of the gift that's going to be coming. That makes sense? You're married. Yeah. Okay. So even if you're married, what I'm talking about is like this deep friendship, or this deep understanding with someone, or this deep, like, I can only have these deep conversations with this person and they kind of really know me, but nobody else can, right? Like that. You're going to get the opportunity to start that. That makes sense? Because, oh, good. It could be your husband. It could be. Whatever this is, it's like it's coming. Okay. Hey, Brittany, how are you? I caught you when you're on. I keep missing your live. I know I'm trying to like do them at different times, but thanks for coming in, Brittany. Okay. I wanted you to understand those two aspects. I'm just kind of want to look and see how it's going. Your Pluto's being activated. And here's the thing, Lori. Remember, for everybody, this partial lunar eclipse that where we're going to be letting go of something in Pisces, right? Or adjusting something in Virgo, having to do with our body too, right? Very grounding, maybe planning out. But this is also giving us a glimpse of what's to come in 2025, right? Where the nodes are actually going to be in Pisces and Virgo, okay? And that's where the next eclipses are. So right now we're moving through the ending portal of Aries with a glimpse of Pisces. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Perfect. All right. So, Brittany, it is so late for me, but I woke up and saw you on, so I'm like, now's my chance. Mine's January 29th, 1991, 10:13 in, is it Kitchen, Ontario? Kitchen, Ontario. Let me see. I think it's Kitchen, Ontario, right? This is so so cool. Um so let me do Shaylee's first, Brittany. Oh, it's Kitchener. Okay. Let me do Shaylee's first because she was here first. And then I'll do yours, Brittany, okay? So Shaylee, if you're here, darling, I need uh I need your birth date, birth time, birthplace. And Brittany, Shaylee's new to us. She's been coming in lately, but she's new to us. Battle of the Twins is new too. So Brittany's been with us for a long time. Okay, so Shaylee, you're so welcome. Uh, let's see. 5:30 p.m. Salt Lake City, Utah. Okay. Utah. And then the birthday is 3/16/1984. 3/16/1984. And then the birth time, 5:29 p.m. 5:29 p.m. Okay, Shaylee, does that look good? Does that look like you, Shaylee? You're a Virgo ascending. Thank you for your time. Sending all the best to you, and really enjoyed it. Drop a like, everyone. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Have a great day at work, Lori. See you later. So not only Miss Shaylee, are you Shaylee, is this correct? Okay, well, because you're a Virgo ascending and a Virgo moon, and you're a Pisces sun. And Mercury, let's see. Yes. Mercury is in your eighth, usually. Okay. Well, this is Placidus, so is the time right? Venus and Lilith in your seventh. Interesting. If the time's correct, this is one of the best softwares, so it's correct. Yes, thank you. Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, I use Placidus when I'm looking at charts like this. When I'm doing charts for like the whole group, then I'll go whole signs, and that's just so everybody kind of sees it different. But Placidus to me is it's not the only one I use, but it's the one that's like can give me some timelines and stuff. I'm thinking whole signs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's probably whole signs. So I'm using Placidus. You can see right here. Yeah. So I'm like, what is going on with you not being directed and you being a Virgo ascending and moon? Here's the thing. I'm getting there's such a fight within you about you thinking your Virgo side thinking it knows better and your Pisces side not wanting to listen. Does that make sense? Like your Virgo side, your Pisces side is so open with relationships, and your Virgo side knows exactly how it's supposed to go. So much so that you have two of your main top three as a Virgo, and you are refusing to work with that Pisces. Oh, my Pisces placement for the most part dominates the Virgo, though. No, it's you think it dominates because it's your sun. So you identify with that. But when push comes to shove, you Virgo it out. You just have to put that fight in there. So because it's your sun, you're like, no, I'm this, right? Because you identify with it. It's the sun, it's the brightest, right? So it thinks it's the ego, it thinks it's the identity, right? Yeah. Sun, Venus, and Lilith are all there, right? See, do you see how she's like, no, it's this way? That's the Virgo. Uh, so Virgo is your seventh house. You feel because it's the sun, Lilith, and Venus, you feel that way, right? You feel that way. You're like, no, it is that I'm the sun. It's the brightest. I'm the ego. Blah blah blah. It's Pisces, right? But you really are perception wise and feeling wise when it comes from deep inside. It's that Virgo that's in charge. Oh yeah, I'm not taking offense. Trust me. I just think it's funny, and I'm showing people this is what I mean. She thinks she's Pisces, but she's really Virgo, right? So that's what I was saying. She has this struggle within her, right? Does that make sense? So I think it's cute. I love you either way. Just want you to be, remember, we're trying to align the body and the soul, right? So, and you're in your 40s, if I'm not mistaken. So you're like, listen, I've been through enough bullshit. What I say goes. Okay. So I get it. It's okay. This whole group's that way. Uh, that's why I do the work with this group and nobody else does the work with this group. Okay. So let me look here. I just got that really quickly when I saw that. You're really good at talking to, no, you're really good at communicating to your partners, whether that's in relationships or business, right? So relationships, whether it's business or romantic, personal, whatever. Here's the thing. It's almost like you know to communicate, but sometimes it's like vomit of the mouth, like vomiting. How do I explain this? It's almost like it's too much, or you don't say anything at all, right? So you don't have it balanced, right? You needed to work on that balance, because a lot of times, probably when you were younger, that Mercury was repressed and not able to say what they wanted, right? Yes, for the most part, I am very good at communication. It's difficult at times, though. Yes, it's not balanced. It's either blah, 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 diarrhea. I used to call it diarrhea of the mouth, right? So it's like blah, 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 or it's like nothing because you know you're going to hurt somebody's feelings, right? That makes sense? Yes, my Aries Mercury is not nice sometimes, even though I'm not trying to be mean. Yeah, exactly. I got this from you last time without even looking at your chart. You have this way of thinking that, how do I say this? Like you don't have a choice in some matters, right? Like you're coming into your self understanding in these next couple of years that you are in charge. Even though your ego tells you you're in charge and you're like, yes, I'm in charge. As much as you say that, you'll say, well, it's them that it's because of that. It's because of da da da. It's because of, like you just said, my Mercury is not nice. No, you're not nice sometimes because you haven't learned how to balance that. Does that make sense? Yes, I'm very forward and have little to no filter. Exactly. What is little to no filter? Where does that come from? Over here. Right here. It's not your Aries. It's your Virgo. So not because you feel it. And so you do it. Right. That's Virgo. That's not Pisces. Pisces will tell you anything that you need to hear. Virgo will not. Virgo will not. Pisces will. And that imbalanced Mercury will. Directly at times and not sensitive. Right. That's all Virgo. I just explained the when we did the Virgo new moon, right? Right? So you're having to learn to soften the blow. Like I said, in that Virgo new moon, you have to learn to soften the blow. You have to learn to take responsibility for saying those things and understanding that maybe you could say them differently or maybe not say them at all. Like, not everybody has to hear it. Not everybody's trying to learn a lesson. As long as your boundaries aren't taken over, as long as you're not being hurt, but without sugarcoating for the most part. Well, sometimes sugarcoating is needed. Sometimes we need to sprinkle a little bit of sugar. Because I said this in the Virgo one. You catch more flies with honey. Which means you're not being manipulative. It just means the blow is softer so people can keep their energy open and their hearts open and maybe really listen to you. I very rarely speak without thinking first. I have taught myself that. Yeah, that's Virgo. Because you've got the moon Virgo that you feel, and then you've got your rising Virgo who you are, right? So you're all of it. I'll just say that, right? You're all of it. And yes, I definitely communicate differently based on the situation. Perfect. Okay, so let's look at these aspects. So where is Pisces? at 15 degrees. So this is 14. So it's right in your seventh house. That's where Saturn is right now, retrograde. And then he's in your ninth house at 25 degrees, Uranus, right? Which is activating your Chiron, right? So your Chiron, remember, is that wound that's always there that you have to work with. And I've explained how that wound can come about and how you can work with it. But as you work with it and understand it, and it's also your physical body, right? So the wounds that are physical that could be happening as this ninth house is being activated by Uranus, but there is a hidden talent because that's the aspect, right? I also have Juno at 0 degrees, Gemini. So that's being hit too, right? So are you looking for a partner? Because I'm focused on the Chiron and you're focused on the Juno. Are you looking for a partner? Because I thought you had a partner. The man I'm in love with is in jail. Okay. So right now we're going to focus on the Chiron, not the Juno, because the Juno just talks about partnerships coming in, partnerships of depth, right? Yeah, Chiron is really, really. Um, I said this in my other video. I'll say this to you, so that you can understand Chiron, right? Chiron is like being at the wrong place at the wrong time and always being the one that gets the short end of the stick, basically, right? It's like, I didn't do anything to have this sort of pain to come on me, but that pain does not go away. You learn to work with it, and as you work with it and understand how to sort of subside the pain, soothe the pain, and you see others doing the mistakes that you did, as you help others, it helps you even more, right? So I'll give you the example that I gave the other day. My husband crossing over after 20 years of marriage, right? That's a pain I'm never going to get over, being a widow, right? But the more I understood, it's a pain that's always going to be there. Does it overwhelm me and hurt me as much anymore? No, but that's not to take the pain away and to take my love for him away. It means that as I worked through it, and as I've helped others work through their being a widow, as I've helped others work through their pain, it has softened my pain. So that pain is never going to go away, but that pain doesn't always have to be focused on. That's Chiron. Does that make sense? That's such a good explanation. Makes sense. My firstborn child passed away. Perfect. So there is this deeper understanding that you look for, that you try to understand, but you need it to be very grounded because it's Taurus, right? But when you do, it's like you'll see it, you understand it, and then you'll see that it works for others and not for you, and then it totally makes you crumble because you're like, then that's not true. Does that make sense to you? That's where the Chiron in the ninth house. It's like the deeper you get and the deeper you understand, it's almost like you think, well, that's meant for everybody else, but not for me. And that's your Chiron, right? So it's being activated with this Uranus in Taurus at 25 degrees, right? Where your hidden talent is the Taurus Pisces axis, right? The Taurus Pisces, Saturn. So the Taurus Saturn, I'm sorry, the Taurus Pisces, the Uranus Saturn, right? Authoritative, understanding, being free from this, not letting it. That's what I'd said before, is that you have this way of, I'm strong, I will take responsibility, but then you'll look at it and say, well, it was their fault. or it's because of that I did it. It's almost like you're giving yourself an excuse. Absolutely, I do everything differently in that way. But yes, I have had to teach myself a lot. Absolutely. And then you like see, well, why does it work for them and not for me? That's your Chiron, right? But there is a hidden talent in there. There's a hidden talent that you're going to become aware of in these until from now until December, of just how powerful you are, of just how you can do those things, of just the wisdom that you have so that you don't have to overcompensate and tell everybody that you have the wisdom. Does that make sense? No, I don't think you ever blame others. I think you're seeing it as that's not what I meant. I don't think that you blame others. What I say is you put yourself in a place where you don't feel as powerful. And so you say, it's almost like saying, I'll give you an example of what I mean. It's almost like saying, I can't stop thinking. My brain just keeps thinking and I can't go to sleep and I can't stop thinking. Right. And I teach people, your brain is not in charge of you. You're in charge of your brain. And if your brain is in charge of you right now, then you need to train your brain. Does that make sense? Right. Only you. So just you'll become aware of that. This is your hidden talent. This is your way of and it's in your seventh and it's in your ninth. So as you become aware of that, as you will see that hidden talent of being able to talk to people without trying to overcompensate, it's almost like I want to tell them everything. I'm so excited, but you got to remember that there's a receiver and they don't always digest everything. You kind of like sometimes put it in spurts, right? And you have a talent here and it's going to be discovered where in December I see that for everybody, once it turns into that sextile, you're going to get the opportunity to prove to yourself about this. That makes sense? Right? And you're like me, it's that so you got Virgo Pisces axis where that um partial. So there is something you've got to let go of in relationships about how you go about having the relationship or communicating in the relationship or showing up in the relationship that you've already come to terms with, that you're already thinking about, that you've already done the work for. And this is just going to solidify. So remember, it's fated. Either you do it or that axis does it. Does that make sense? Correct. They are all abusive as of now. Yeah. Yeah. I had to clean my seventh house too. That is not an easy task. And I think you'll be able to do it with that Virgo. Because when Virgo knows it's been done wrong, that's what I told y'all. Virgo has no problem telling y'all it's that they're mad or that they don't like you. They won't miss a beat about it. They're not trying to be kind about it. They'll just let you know. That's why I'm like, when they tell you something that you're like, ouch, they don't do it because they're trying to be mean. Because if they were trying to be mean, they'll definitely let you know that they're trying to be mean, right? It is such a hard one to break. Yeah, it will. Is there anything that's really easy? They're all hard to break. That's why you've come to do this so that you can break it, so that you can transmute it, so that you can change it. Now that is so true. And once I am done and delete them from my life. Yeah. And then that Pisces wants to like hang on. But that Virgo takes over because that's who you really are, that Virgo. Okay. Now we'll do, so I hope that helps. Now we'll do Brittany, right? Yeah. Brittany. See, we are January 29th. Aquarius. Okay. Why? Okay, hold on. Brittany. It's Kitchener. Not in the USA. Canada. It's Ontario, right? It's not British Columbia. It's Ontario. Where is it? Yeah. Ontario. January 29th, 1991. January 29th, 1991. Oh, did it come in there? And it's 10:13 p.m. Okay, Brittany, is that you? Yeah, Ontario. Okay, perfect. You're welcome, Shaylee. Okay, so you are a Libra ascending, a Leo moon, which means you are gorgeous. Gorgeous. Leo moons are beautiful. And you are an Aquarius sun. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I already know that sun and moon fight a lot. Like, that sun and moon fight a lot. And it really makes you mad because that moon ends up with better luck. So it's like you don't want to feel it. You're like, at the Aquarian, I know better and I can do this through my mind and not through my heart. But when you do it through your heart, it kind of turns out better, which pisses the Aquarian off. Which pisses the, oh my God, they truly do. Yeah, it's true. um, And then you have the Libra in there. That Libra ascending is like, listen, we can all work together. We can do this. Oh my God, that is so funny. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I just hear them. I hear all your sides. It's funny. Okay, so you too. Y'all are keeping your most private, true selves. She said, that is so true. It drives me nuts. I know. So you completely get it when I have said, come on here over the years and said, oh my God, I'm so sick of myself. My Aquarian side is out and I'm so sick of myself. That's exactly what's going on with you. Just in a different way, right? You get it though when I've come out here and said this, when I've come on and said it. Um, it's like I'm not sick of anybody else, I'm sick of myself. Um, okay, so this deep part, see, do you see all this down here? And it's your north node. It is so important for you to understand where you came from and to dissect that and to transmute that and to understand that. Do you see all these planets right at this is your mission. Like, I've seen this so many times where I know a lot of people online in the spiritual community are like, I've come to break the chains. And I'm not saying that you haven't. I'm just saying, when I see people like this, and it's most of my group, you really have come to break the chains in your lineage. Like, do you see all this mess right here? Saturn does not make it easy for you to do your mission. But Mercury likes to help you process the things and understand the things, right? And you have a lot of luck in this area to become free from the chains.
But the issue is that sometimes you don't see it correctly. Like you don't want to see the truth of it at times. Does that make sense to you? And this not only goes to your line, this goes to the deepest part of you as well. Does that make sense, Brittany? So I'll wait for you to answer as I look at the other parts. Ooh, you got that Pluto in that second house. Are y'all? Oops. Yeah, that makes sense. I constantly process my past and it comes up a lot. That's because you're trying to understand it in a different way and get through it so that the rest of your line from your point on, I'm going to tell you the very Aquarian way, so that your lineage is healed from your point. You're like, it's not going any further than me. Yeah, absolutely bad upbringing. Absolutely. And you're trying to understand it. But listen, you made yourself Aquarius for a reason so that you can go in there and not get lost, right? So that you can go in there and see the truth of it and then change it. Does that make sense? Because it's you that can do this. You really did make yourself this way for it. I mean, like I say that a lot, but there's a reason that you made yourself that way. There's a reason that you're an Aquarius sun, right? And then when I look at your 10th house, that Chiron right there at that south node, it's like the way that you innately know to do things does not work out right sometimes, most times, right? And you're like, I shouldn't have done that because I didn't see it correctly, or like you judge yourself for that. That makes sense. Many, many years of figuring it out. I think I always will be. Yeah. Mm, I don't think. Yeah. Your north node is there, but you're getting closer, right? But you have. Here's the thing: is you really have to work on that worth. You really have to work on that worth. That Pluto will mess you up because I look at your south node and it's in Cancer. So if you believe in something, if you have your heart in something, at work or in whatever you do for your reputation, for your work, for your career, like you should automatically be at the top. But that Chiron messes with you. It's like I get these jobs and I'm at the top, and then they overwork me, take advantage of me, blah 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 blah. So I want to be the little guy, but I can't be the little guy because I'm always being brought to the top. But then I get mistreated for being brought to the top, right? And so, do you see how it's aspecting your Pluto? This is about your work and your resourcefulness. So I hope you watched my Pluto second house because that's going to help you, right? Yeah, that's going to help you. You need to watch my Pluto series. So watch my series, but watch the second house especially, um, because that's going to help you release that psychological trauma and really step into yourself. And then know that Chiron, again, you heard me talk about Chiron. So kind of add that in there. I'll get back to you and watch it. Okay, perfect. So now let's look at this hidden talent of yours. Hidden talent is at Taurus, 25 degrees, which is right here, going into Pisces at 15, 16 degrees. So that's sixth and that's eighth, right? So your health and well-being. This is your everyday life. This is the way that you plan, the way that you organize. But I'm going to say for you, this is about, you have this way of, if you honor how you feel and you take care of your body, then that means When I need to rest, I'm going to. And I know enough now that I can't be taken advantage of because I've learned my lessons. When you do this, there is a hidden talent that you have about attracting the right people and making lots of money. Your eighth house, where money can just come to you and money can just come to you. Look, there's no planets there. That's your hidden talent. But you have this Pluto and this Chiron that gets in the way because you think you're not enough, because you forget that you've been through so much and actually mastered it. Right? Does that make sense? Because you've been focused over here about, like, how can I do it different than them so that I succeed? You don't have to attach them to you with the success. Like, they don't have to be a part of the success. They don't have to be a part of the equation of the success. Does that make sense? But this is something that you're understanding about yourself recently, maybe since January, like I said before in the other video. And you saw some evidence. You begin to see some evidence about that as Aries, as the nodes move through Aries, right? Yeah, it does. Okay. Now, you are going to be seeing more evidence as your psyche shifts, as your understanding shifts, as you begin to believe in yourself. You're going to begin to see things happen for you and you not having to work so hard for it and you not being at the right place at the wrong time. Like, it just missed me. It won't. It's going to start aligning for you. That by December, when that quintile turns into that sextile, you're going to be in a space where you're like, yes, this is the decision I make, and it's taking me this way because that's where I said I'm going. And it's not hard. It's like right there. It's opportunity open for me. Does that make sense, Brittany? Now, that Virgo Pisces axis 25 degrees, that is your 6/12. This again has to do with your health, your well-being, right? Am I seeing it correctly? Am I honoring myself, right? So there's something here that you're needing to let go of, but don't worry. So I think you're aware of it. This is something that you've worked on, but as we have this partial eclipse, remember, this is where we're going, because see, look at that par fortune. Your par fortune is at 6 degrees Aries. That's where the actual node's going to be during the eclipse, right? Remember, the nodes are going to be in Aries, Libra, but they're talking to Pisces, Virgo. Okay, I don't know if you saw my other video. You may want to look at that. So you have, as long as you're honoring yourself, this is your part. This is the par fortune. This is where you're your most. This is where, when you put your Aquarius and stop fighting with Leo over here, your moon, when you stop fighting with your moon and start working with it and then really balancing in with Libra and honoring Libra, you will become the Aries. And when you're the Aries, you have an eclipse, a partial eclipse coming there, but you have fortune here. You have things coming to you here. But you must how do I say this? There are things that you need to replan. There are things that you need to um, let go of in your daily life that are making maybe your body not do so well, and you're trying to figure that out. But it's your 12th house, which means you need to sense it. You may not see it, but you need to sense it. And you need to trust yourself. Okay, does that make sense, Brittany? Hey, Denise. Okay, so uh it's 1:30 in the morning. I think I'm going to get going. I'll be on tomorrow. And if you want we're gonna do some tarot, but I'll try to be on. I may be on like I don't know when I'm gonna be on Battle of the Twins. Let me go ahead and do you, June 21st. Good night, Shaylee. Hi, I thought I was after Brittany. Yeah, I'm gonna do you, and then I'm gonna go. But I'll be on tomorrow, and I may do more charts. I've been wanting to read people's charts. It's just I have. It's been with this heat wave and stuff. I haven't been able to like get on early enough. So I'm just gonna call you twins. Um, Brooklyn. Okay, and your birthday is June 21st. Okay, so June 21st. 91. 12:45 a.m. 12:45 a.m. 12:45. Waking up. Oh, this also reminds me, before I do yours, Battle of the Twins. Hold on a second. So Karina, I always want to give shout outs to people that buy me coffee. So Karina, thank you so much for buying me coffee. I did actually buy coffee. So I want to say thank you to Karina for donating and helping the cause. This helps me do this kind of work, keeps my channel open. So I appreciate you, Karina. If you see this later, I just wanted to tell you that. So Brittany says, thank you, Cindy. I'm going to come back and watch this along with the videos you mentioned. Perfect. Okay. So twins, let's go to you. So you're a Pisces ascending. You are a Gemini sun and you are a Libra moon. Now I know why you call yourself Battle of the Twins. Because I feel like I don't want to say that in public because it's going to be giving some of your secrets away. I don't want to do that, but just know I know. I know. Okay. Um, internal battle always. Yeah. It's like sometimes I'm not going to say that part. Okay. So let's look at your, ooh, you got eighth house Pluto. Uh, and your moon is in the seventh house. Your sun. Why do you, internal battle, but I see that you do hide and it's a 29-degree sun. So you have this big ego within you that you won't let out. It's almost like I have had this before where I have done sessions, private sessions with Geminis who will absolutely not say a word and be very quiet and think they're hiding from me. And then I'm hearing from their higher self that they're testing me and they're doing all this stuff, right? So yeah, yeah. I would think so with that Pluto eighth house. That's how I feel. I feel like you are like you've hidden who you are. Like you don't want to. show people who you are, which is why I won't. That's why I got the message not to even say what I thought, like because the public forum is not the place to do it. So the fact that you're even letting me do this in a public forum is a lot. It shows you've grown a lot, right? And I'm going to honor that. And I'm going by your guides that will tell me, nope, that's not okay to say, or yes, it's okay to say. So this part is okay to say. Um, you have so much to say. Yeah, you have so much to say. You have so much to give, and you have just put it down. You look at Mercury. You are ruled by Mercury, right? And it's like whenever you were able to really finally feel something or some way about some situation, you won't allow yourself to say it or you have it, right? So you're 1991, so hopefully you're getting through this. Hopefully you're understanding this about yourself. You're probably a great, I don't know, writer, communicator. You could be like on stage talking, motivating, blah, 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 but you won't do it. Like you won't allow yourself to do it. And I feel like whenever you've opened your heart and given some, it's not gone your way. Look at that Chiron in your South Node. So you know how to do this. You know how to be happy. You know how to have fun. You know how to be free. But this Chiron won't let you. And you feel it's safer if you just keep it down here. Does that make sense? You always have to feel like the exchange. Like this is interesting that your moon actually feels like it needs to be balanced. Been hurt too many times. I said I do motivate others, but I can't do it myself. Yeah. Where's that hidden talent? Let me look. Hold on. Yeah, Pisces first house. And we're talking at 25 degrees, so it's in your first house. All right, so that's where Saturn is right now. Saturn is really making you work hard about who you are. Who are you going to decide to be? Are you finally going to get out of your own way? You're one of these people that has gotten in their own way. You won't allow yourself to be your talent. Like you have not. Because every time you do, you're at the right place at the wrong time, right? That's Chiron, right? It's this wound that won't go away. You have to learn to work with it. You have to learn that people, I'm not saying take this on, but I'm saying this is how you could see it. People are going to do and say what people are going to do and say. It doesn't matter how they feel about you. How do you feel about you? Because you've allowed that, the fact that they've hurt you, the fact that they have opinions, the fact that it's different than yours, you've allowed that to hurt you, right? And I'm saying you're an old soul wise that you have all this talent that you have not given to the world. Because maybe because you think they're not worth it, right? Maybe because they've only proven to you that they're nasty and they will hurt you and whatever, right? But when you come out of that and understand, it doesn't matter what the fuck people say. Like, look at me. I don't care. Like, I honestly, like, I have that Saggy side, right? So I really don't. And I have the Virgo South Node. So I already know that people are going to do and say what people are going to do and say. And you're either going to like me or you're not. I'm not for everybody, but I don't really care. For those people that I am with and I do have around me, those people I will invest in. But I cannot please everyone. I cannot. The only true way for me to walk in this world, because it would drive me crazy to think, oh, I got to be this to this set of group. I got to be this to these people. I got to be this to this person. I got to be this to my parents. I got to be this to my grandparents. I got to be this to. Do you understand all that masking that has gone on? Like, the best way to be is just be you. And then either you like me or you don't. That makes sense? I'm trying to find myself, find my passion. That's that Saturn making you work hard. And I'm not saying that you have to be as cruel as a Saggy, as direct as a Virgo, but I'm saying that so that you understand that when you can walk into your freedom and who you are, once you discover that, it's so much more freeing. Like you can't go wrong because you're only doing you. And the people that are around you are going to love you and then you will love them, right? Not like I got to be this to this person. I got to make sure and walk on eggshells over here. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, right? Learning to surrender, be free. You're trying to figure out who you are. You're trying to figure out how to unmask all the bullshit that's been put on you. You also have that eighth house Pluto, right? Your hidden talent is in your second house and your first house. Sorry. Second house and yeah, that's really interesting. It's right here. So you've got Saturn here and then you've got Uranus here. Right? And so so you got Saturn. Oh, I'm sorry. You got Saturn here in your 12th house. Thank you. That's better. So you got Saturn here. That's where Saturn is transiting and it's quintiling Taurus here. Okay? So you have to gather from your instincts, from your ability, the parts of you that you want to be in this world, but you have to decide what that is, right? And you've probably already been working on it, like you said. I've been working on it. I'm learning to be free. I'm learning to relax, right? You're so tight because you don't want people really knowing because it's too dangerous for them to get close. But that's not how you wanted to walk in this world. You want to walk in this world like a Gemini who's free and has the excitement of a child first seeing something and is very motivating to people, not because she's being directly motivated, but just because of the way she is and people want to be around her. Does that make sense? But you need to find out who that is, and then you need to connect with that happiness, and then you need to bring that out. Does that make sense? And this partial eclipse has to do with your 12th house and your 6th house. Okay? This is so important. You have Mars, Venus, Jupiter in here, right? And so you have to balance this. I feel like there is something that you gonna need to like. You haven't seen it yet because it's in your 12th house. So I feel like it's going to be shown to you. Whatever this is that you're needing to release, it's going to be shown to you. It's not going to be like this major thing that you need to be afraid of and it's this crisis that's going to be an adjustment. It's like this epiphany that I see for you. And you're like, oh, like I'm going to give you an example. So what's my 12th house? So your 12th house is Aquarius, but the partial eclipse is going to happen in that 12th house, right? So your 12th house is ruled by Aquarius. Yeah, it is. See how the 12th, do you see this line right here? That starts your 12th house. That's Aquarius. But Pisces is in there too. Okay. And then the eclipse is going to happen right here in your 12th house. But it has to do with your 6th house too. So the moon's going to be here. The sun's going to be here. The sun's going to be right over here, kind of activating these, right? And so I feel like there's going to be an epiphany for you where, what was I going to say? Like, this is an example. This is an example. I almost feel like you're like, oh, I've found that tapping helps my body so that it connects to my mind and my subconscious. And then I don't have the anxiety. I don't have to feel so tight. Like that's just an example. But I kind of know that things are going to come this way and it just makes me feel better because I'm using my senses, because I'm using my ability. And then I'm becoming more confident. Does that make sense? And again, there's a lot that I can't say because actually I was told not to like say it all. So I'm just giving you those things to go by. So I feel like you'll be more aware, more relaxed by end of December when you get to make the choice of what I want to do. I feel, and honestly, I really wish you would say, yeah, you don't know what I'm gonna say, and so I really can't. Um, what I'm saying enough for you to understand. I can say that, okay? So, um, I feel like by December you're really gonna understand this, and I feel like by December, here's the other thing too. I really feel like you need to be doing something where you're talking to people, because that's where you're gonna shine. Does that make sense? But you need to learn how to do that. You need to like practice more, right? Because you can talk to people now, but it would all be fake, and you don't want to do that. But your Libra's gonna, your Pisces will let you do it, and your Libra will let you do it. But your 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 Gemini's not gonna let you do it. You need to like really practice first. But my passion is online business. So online business is fine. Tell people, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I have an online business. I talk to people all the time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That looks like it's on the same part, same passion, right? So, anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for allowing me to publicly put your stuff up here and read you guys. I really appreciate it. For everybody that's come in, for everybody that's given me hearts, for those of you that have bought me coffee and allowed me to keep this channel open. So I love you, love you, love you. I will see you soon, tomorrow actually. Bye guys. Thank you.